and gentlemen, welcome to the University of Namur. We are very delighted to have Sivasailam Thiagarajan for 3 days in Belgium in our university. Thiagi, as most people call him, has designed training games for 40 years now, or maybe more actually. So ludopédagogie is going to be our subject today. So Thiagi, you call yourself a resident math scientist. What do you mean exactly with these words?
It means I'm schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic. I come from a family which has mental health problems, and I'm happy to report I'm slightly Looney Tunes.
Oh, you're a Looney Tune, yes, okay. And how does that apply to your job, I would say, as a game designer and a facilitator and trainer?
Primarily, what it does is I take serious things in a playful way, and I take playful things in a serious way, so I'm totally confused and I become totally unpredictable.
Oh, okay, so you are going to be unpredictable today during this interview.
37.
All right, okay, good, thanks. Could you tell me, what are the ingredients of a good and successful game?
Unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you a technical definition of what a game is. A game has 4 critical characteristics. Mm-hmm. Number 1, it is contrived. Contrived meaning it's not serious. So it is playful, and people can say, after all, it's a game. Mm-hmm. The second characteristic, it is controlled, it has rules. All games have rules, and they may be silly, contrived rules, but people obey the rules of the game. Mm-hmm. And one of the requirements of a game is closure. It means it comes to an end. There are some games which keep going on and on and on. I don't like those kinds of games. I like games that come to an end. And the last C is for you to figure out what it is. Because one of the rules I have is never tell people everything. If you tell them everything, they won't come to the workshop tomorrow.
Well, right, okay. But you will have to tell me a little bit more during this interview, if you don't mind. And I would like to challenge you on a game right now, all right? So I'm pretty sure that many people, many teachers will want to use games in their practice. And I would like you to give them some really concrete advice. And if you don't mind, we are going to play with the dice, all right? And you will have to give a certain number of advice depending on the number that is there. So if you can roll it, and I cross my fingers that it's a 6, so we will have plenty of advice.
Okay, good.
All right. Let's go for this.
Wow.
Oh, that's a 6. It's amazing.
Yes.
So we are expecting 6 pieces of advice from you.
Okay. Number 1, don't listen to advice from other people. Okay. That is advice number 1. Advice number 2, don't spend too much time explaining how the game is going to be played. If your participants are not playing the game within 4 minutes at the worst, then you are lecturing, you are not playing a game. Number 3, don't be rigid about the rules of the game. Keep making changes. If the rules don't work, change it. Nobody knows what the rules are. And number 5 is make sure the outcome of the game is related to the learning objectives you have. So because we are talking about games in the classroom, if you just play a game for the fun of it, you should be fired. Your games should have a purpose other than just having fun. It should be related to whatever you are teaching. For example, if you are teaching philosophy, the game should require people throwing dice and coming up with given number of philosophical statements.
All right.
And number 5, again, this is 5B, is make sure that you focus on individual players as well as the group as a whole. Sometimes you'll have to sacrifice what is good for the group in order to satisfy an individual. Sometimes you have to ignore an individual in order the group as a whole can get something useful. And number 6, the most important thing is the game should be cheap. If it costs more than €1, it's an expensive game. You should be able to use piece of paper, you should be able to use your fingers and things of that nature without buying expensive dice and things like that.
All right. Okay. Thanks. That was 7, wasn't it?
No, that is...
I think you
okay. Now, counting back.
No, that's fine. Thanks.
Good.
Good. I have this question very often from teachers and trainers, and they are a bit worried about people's reactions, participants' reactions to games, because they tend not to find that very seriously. What's the reaction you get from participants?
I don't focus on the participants' reaction. I tell them this is our training objective, and rather than my doing death by PowerPoint and giving a boring lecture with a lot of slides, we are going to do an activity. And depending on how they react, if they are taking it too lightly, I say we are going to participate in a modified Delphi technique. We will go through a non-computerized group decision support system. If they are taking it too seriously, I would say we are going to have some fun, we are going to play a game. But I focus on the objectives I'm trying to achieve, so I don't worry too much about what I call it. I call whatever I feel like calling it, depending on the audience I have.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you for the piece of advice again. What's your favorite game? If you have to keep one and go on the desert island with it, which one would it be?
My favorite game does not require anything to take with me, and my favorite game is based on what I call the game, which says every day you have to come up with a new game. So never play the same game the same way more than once. So I go to the desert island and find here is a piece of coconut. So we will have the coconut game, and we want to be able to come up with 87 different uses for coconut.
It's perfect. And I'm pretty sure you're going to like my second challenge now then.
Good.
Because I want you to prove to the entire world that you are able to really create a game with a coconut. I've got 3 dice here, all right? And I'm going to ask you, you have symbols on them, all right? And you're going to throw them. And based on the 3 symbols you will get, I will just ask you very spontaneously to create the new Thiagi game, all right? So I give it to you and let you throw them again. You cannot cheat this time. So we have a star, we have a footprint, and we have a fairy.
Okay.
So what kind of game can we develop from there?
Okay. So this game is a space travel game. So what do you teach?
English language.
English language. So you are walking in an alien planet, and you are confronted with a fairy. And the fairy says, tell us how to go from here to the nearest galaxy and to a specific star. And here is the only constraint. You can speak you can explain the way to go to that star only in English. So if we cannot use English, the fairy will kill you. So now start. And as you keep doing things in English, I will keep track, and I'm not focusing on whether there are syntax errors or grammatical errors. I'm just focusing on your level of confidence in order for you not to worry, am I going to make a mistake? Here, go.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. Now, here is what I'm going to be doing.
All right.
I want you to explain the same thing in French.
Okay.
Good. Here is what I noticed. When you're doing French, you're waving your hand this way and
Yes.
that way, and your inflection is changing, and the way you speak, the suprasegmentals are varying. What I want you to do, try it again in English. Pretend that is your native language.
All right.
And whatever you
Okay,
will do.
good.
So this is...
Your game. Well, consider it stolen, actually.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Okay.
This is a stupid game.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
I can do a much better game if you want.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about it later, probably.
Okay.
To conclude, I would like to give you the word, but once again using one of your favorite, well, one of my favorite games, which is photo jolts, so talking with pictures.
Wow.
So I'm going to ask you to conclude this interview very briefly with maybe one sentence, and I would like you to choose one of those pictures here, and it's going to translate the message you want to leave.
Living dangerously.
Oh my God, you're such a dangerous man.
I'm going to take a random card. Okay. So
it's a bear, it's a little teddy bear sitting on a bench.
yes. And now here is what it is. Your job is sit next to a bear sitting all by itself on a bench because the bear is extremely introverted. A really good game is capable of appealing to introverts, appealing to extroverts, appealing to birds, appealing to benches, appealing to the whole universe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to this interview. We were very, very delighted to have you here today. And if you want to know more about our pedagogical journeys here at the University of Namur, feel free to contact us. Thank you.